All it took was a single U.S. fighter jet to turn a billion-dollar jungle drug lab into ashes. Hidden deep in the Mexican wilderness, the cartel's most guarded facility was shielded by thick trees, concrete walls, and men armed to the teeth. Every day, it churned out millions in narcotics, poisoning American streets and cutting countless lives short. The cartel thought it was untouchable until the night the sky lit up. In one decisive strike, the lab was reduced to rubble. Now Mexico is furious, Washington is on edge, and the world is asking the same question. How did the United States find it? And could this strike ignite a dangerous international showdown? All it took was the United States F-15 to turn a secret jungle drug lab into ashes. Hidden deep in the Mexican jungle, the Billion-Dollar Cartel Lab was protected by thick trees and armed guards. Every single day it produced poison worth millions, drugs that were sending Americans to their early graves. The cartel believed it was untouchable until the sky lit up. Now Mexico is furious. How did the United States find it? And could this strike spark a dangerous international showdown? Inside the Pentagon war room, the air was heavy with tension. On the digital display screen stood two options: the F-22 Raptor, America's invisible ghost that could slip past any radar, and the F-15, a flying arsenal that carried enough firepower to erase a city block. The target was no ordinary camp, but a heavily fortified jungle fortress. Thick concrete walls, underground bunkers, multiple compounds spread across acres of trees. The obvious choice was stealth. Let the F-22 sneak in, strike once, and vanish. But the generals knew this mission demanded something different. This was not about silence, it was about total destruction. The Raptor could only carry 8 internal weapons to preserve stealth. The F-15 carried far more. Mounted on external racks, it could deliver the heaviest bunker-busting bombs in America's arsenal. Weapons designed to punch through reinforced concrete and crush underground facilities. The Eagle II had another edge. Instead of hiding, it blinded. Its advanced jamming systems created what experts called virtual stealth, flooding radars with decoys and false signals, scrambling enemy defenses until they saw the aircraft everywhere and nowhere at once. Missiles aimed in confusion, communications shattered. Unlike the Raptor, the Eagle did not whisper, it roared. And in this case, Washington wanted the roar. The cartel needed to see overwhelming American firepower. A secret strike might go unnoticed until too late, but a smoking crater in the jungle would leave no doubt. With its twin engines generating 58,000 pounds of thrust, the F-15 could carry maximum payload at blistering speed. Its range meant it could fly deep into hostile territory, strike multiple sites, and still return safely. The decision was final. The Eagle II would fly the mission, but the deadliest weapon is useless without a target. For 3 years, the cartel lab had remained a ghost, hidden somewhere in the mountains of Sinaloa. At 4 in the morning, the U-2 Dragon Lady rose from Beale Air Force Base, climbing silently towards 70,000 feet. From the edge of space, its Cold War cameras scanned the jungle below. And then, in the clearing, the shadows revealed the unthinkable. Rows of chemical vats, fortified bunkers, fuel depots spread across the forest. A billion-dollar empire exposed. The target was locked. The F-15 roared off the runway, heavy with bombs built to shatter fortresses. It crossed into Mexican airspace under the cover of night. Below, cartel guards lounged by floodlights, unaware of what was coming. At 2:17 a.m., the first bunker buster screamed down, ripping through concrete before detonating in the underground heart of the lab. The ground shook. Then came the secondary explosions, chemical vats igniting one after another, fire swallowing the jungle. By 2:20, entire buildings were gone, reduced to twisted steel and flames. What had taken years to build was erased in minutes. When dawn broke, the world saw the devastation. Blackened jungle stretched for kilometers, smoke curling into the sky. A billion-dollar operation had vanished. In Washington, it was called a victory. In Mexico City, it was called a violation. Officials condemned the strike as an attack on sovereignty, accusing America of playing judge, jury, and executioner. Cartel factions, humiliated and enraged, vowed revenge. And across the world, one question lingered. If the United States could erase a fortress this way, what else could it strike without warning? The military needed eyes that could see through lies. The U-2 never crossed into Mexican airspace. International law forbade it. But from 13 miles high, its lenses read license plates on trucks moving through cartel territory. Every radio signal, every whispered cell phone call, every electronic hum was captured. What would have taken ground agents years to uncover, the Dragon Lady gathered in hours. Satellites joined the hunt from even higher altitudes. Their orbits shifted silently, carefully planned to avoid detection, scanning the same jungle patches again and again. Software analyzed thousands of images, searching for changes too subtle for the human eye. Then came the breakthrough. Beneath the thick canopy, something glowed. Industrial heat signatures, massive energy bleeding into the forest, processing equipment hidden under trees. No road led there. Supplies came on mules. The cartel had built a fortress they thought invisible. But American intelligence had been patient. For 6 months, analysts mapped the operation down to its heartbeat. They logged the lab technicians' work schedules, tracked every shipment of precursor chemicals, even charted guard patrols by the minute. Special operations soldiers, disguised as hikers, slipped close enough to plant chemical sensors in the wind. Microphones hidden in tree trunks picked up the hum of generators and ventilators. The final confirmation came from encrypted cartel phones, cracked in hours by the NSA. Every careless conversation fed into the blueprint. By October, America had precise GPS coordinates for every single building. The hunt was over, the target was found. But finding was not the same as striking. To cross that line, the Pentagon needed more than bombs. It needed permission from the Oval Office. For 3 tense hours, the president listened as his war council laid the options on the table. Photographs of the jungle fortress covered the desk. The CIA explained the surveillance breakthrough. The defense secretary outlined strike scenarios. The attorney general described the legal walls that stood in the way. The cartels, once untouchable in their jungle fortresses, had learned a brutal truth. Distance, secrecy, and borders could no longer shield them from the reach of U.S. military. Might a billion-dollar empire erased in a single strike. The echoes of that night would haunt Mexico's underworld for years to come. But this was only the beginning. The war had entered a new chapter, one where shadows were no longer safe, and the sky itself had become the enemy. If you were gripped by this story, don't stop here. Like, share, and subscribe to stay with us as we uncover the hidden battles shaping our world. Click on the video now appearing on your screen and join us for the next mission.